can I ask you just like a little questions from the breakout room?
Okay.
In breakout room, what did you guys discuss? Can you tell us maybe like what did you guys discuss, and or maybe what will you do in the next project, maybe from Tien?
Just now we discussed about ecotourism project, and then from classmate Indonesia, they share about the project for Ngati and Nguling district. So I know the detail of the project, where the location and the attraction for the ecotourism. And I also share for the how Malaysia do the site analysis for our studio. So we exchange the experience how to do the site analysis and our studio. Yeah, that's all for
Okay. Okay, thank you, Tian, for the explanation. And I think that was like a quite compact discussion for today, because we only give you guys like, I think, 1 hour, and you guys already talk and discuss about quite a compact things. Okay, thank you so much, Tian.
Welcome. Thank you too.
Yes. Okay, for the next agenda, there will be a guest lecture, which will consist of a 30 minutes presentation and followed by a Q&A session. So do you guys know that social impact assessment in urban planning has been a significant focus due to the rapid urbanization and the need to address the challenge posed by climate change, population growth, and the need for sustainable development? The importance of SIA is also because development can lead to displacement, income inequality, and loss of cultural heritage. With the help of SIA, could mitigate this risk. For today's guest lecture will be discussed about social impact assessment, which delivered by an outstanding speaker, Professor Dr. Azizan Marzuki. Please welcome Professor Dr. Azizan Marzuki. Good day, sir. Is Professor Azizan already joined this Zoom meeting?
Okay, hi. Good afternoon and assalamualaikum to everybody.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, sir. How do you do?
Oh, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, sir. Maybe before you begin the presentation, can I give a brief introduction about Professor Azizan?
Okay, yes, you can. Please, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So let me give you guys a brief introduction about Professor Azizan. So Professor Azizan is a very experienced in the world of education, serving as a technical assistant in the Department of Town and Country Planning from 1993 until 2002. And right now, Professor Azizan is a professor in Urban and Regional Planning, Universitas Sains Malaysia. He completed his last education at Flinders University, Adelaide, Australia, for his PhD degree. Apart from being in the world of education, he is also involved in tourism planning and published more than 200 publications in the form of international journals, conference, books, and monographs. What an outstanding achievement, right, from Professor Azizan. So without further ado, to Professor Azizan, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Chairpersons. Okay, let me share my screen first. Okay, can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. We can see it.
Okay. Okay, for today, lectures, I will give some explanations or some informations about social impact assessments. I think this topic is not new for students from Universitas Sains of Malaysia, because they are doing some studies on social impact assessment at this moment. But I think it may be new for students, for ITS students. So I think that I'll give some introductions on the social impact assessment in terms of the implementation, in terms of the purpose, and also the benefits of the doing social impact assessments. So we start my slide with some explanations about sustainable developments, because when we are talking about social impact assessment or any impact assessment studies, it begins with the requirement for sustainable developments, and it begins with the aim for sustainability in terms of urban and regional planning development, in terms of the physical developments. So if you look into the aims and the objective of sustainable development, which is the sustainable development is aimed for equitable and balanced development in terms of providing, a fair development which is important for the future generations. When we look into the principles of the sustainable development, so it said that the development should balance the interests of the present and future generations in three major interrelated areas. So under the sustainable development, three major areas is economic, environmental, and social. So to get a sustainable future development or sustainable physical development or sustainable urban planning development, we need to have a balance in terms of the economics aspects, environmental aspects, and the social characteristic also should be balanced. So this is because the social aspect will represent the requirements of the local communities or the human beings. And then the economic aspect will represent the major activities, socio-economic activities, because we need the economic aspect because it will give some input in terms of our livelihoods, in terms of providing the needs of the human beings. And also we need to have a balance in terms of the environmental development. It is to ensure that when we have the social and economic development, we also will not forget about the importance of the environmental aspects of the development, because without the environment, we cannot achieve a sustainable way of the development, and we maybe fall into a big problem just because of we abandon the importance of the environment's aspects. So next, we move to the methods of enhancing the sustainable development. Okay, for your information, there are too many impact assessment studies in the world at this moment, because I give some input in terms of the social impact assessment that's normally or regularly implemented by the international agencies or maybe international countries. So it depends on the more developed of the countries, meaning that they will approach with the most comprehensive impact assessment study. This is to ensure that when they have the development, it will have some opportunity for them to identify what is the future impacts, and also they want to predict the negative impacts of the development as soon as possible. So amongst of the most important methods for sustainable development is environmental impact assessments. So I think you know about the importance of environmental impact assessment. It is used to ensure that we can identify the issues, especially on the environmental aspects, when we have some physical development in certain areas in any countries. And then the environmental impact assessment gives some biggest consideration to the environmental aspects of the developments. And then we go to the social impacts assessment. Social impact assessment will give priorities on the human beings, on the social aspects of the human beings, socio-economic aspects, and we want to especially identify what are the issues regarding to the developments, and also we want to know about the perceptions of the local community when we have some development, whether they agree or not, or maybe whether they have others' opinion regarding to the proposed developments. And then we have health impact assessment. Health impact assessment is almost similar with the social impact assessment. It focuses on the health, especially when we we want to do a studies about the certain outbreak. For example, maybe we want to studies about the influence of the COVID-19 to the local community or to the people in each country. So we will do some health impact assessment to ensure that we can identify what are the issues caused by the COVID-19 and also how to control the or to take the measures to control the issues. And then the strategic environmental assessment is an upgrading approach of the EIA or environmental impact assessment. The strategic environmental impact assessment is similar to EIA, however, it is more comprehensive. And then the integrated assessment will combine. It will have some input of social impact assessment, health impact assessment, and also strategic or environmental impact assessment. And poverty and social impact assessment is another social impact assessment studies, but it gives the priority to the poor people or maybe to the poverty issues in any local communities areas. And then the sustainability assessment will cover about every aspect that I have said to you just now, but it will be more systematic and more comprehensive in terms of identifying the issues and also analyzing what caused behind of the issues. Okay, next. I'll give you some backgrounds about the SIA, when the SIA begins and also how it has been started. So SIA emerged as a field of social science during 1960s. It is because by 1960s, especially in Western countries, United States, for example, they have implement the environmental impact assessment studies in physical development in their countries, in European and also in United States, for example, starting from 50s to 1960s. However, by 1960, they found that there are some inadequate in terms of the elements of SIA in EIA. So that's how they have suggested that we need to have a separate SIA study compared to the previous approach where SIA is a part of EIA. It is because the components of SIA is quite big also, and then it is not very well covered under the EIA study. So that's why by 1970s, the SIA has been run as a separate studies to ensure that we can have some earlier information about the socio-economic aspects on certain communities regarding to the purpose of the physical developments. And then normally the SIA will be crucial and important if it is involved with the resettlement projects or the lands requirements. And then, because on the resettlement projects, we need to identify the affected people, which is the people who need to be relocated and the people who need to sacrifice their land for the developments. And also we need to find the measures to mitigate negative impacts. Because let's say we have a big community in the surrounding areas, maybe we will have some different race, different religions of the communities. So meaning that a different types of community will bring a different types of impacts. And then the perception also will be different. So that's why we need to ensure that we can identify all of the emerging issues regarding to the socio-economic aspect to ensure that we will not left behind any important issues during the the project development. And also we need to know about how to compensate irreversible losses following a participatory process. So maybe let's say if the development will be run in any of our village and then our family affected by the proposed development, and then we need to be relocated. So of course, when we need to leave the house, the compensation need to include the price of the house, the price of the land, the price of the materials on the land, the trees, for example, fruit trees, and everything need to be calculated to ensure that all, material will be fairly compensated. So it is very important to ensure that, the affected parties or the affected people will be, satisfied with the compensation, and also the project proponent also will, voluntarily pay all the compensation to the affected people. So this is the figures about the emergence of the SIA. It started with environmental impact assessment studies, and then it will continue with the social impact assessment. Firstly, before 1950, for example, the environmental impact assessment study is, an independent studies to conduct, to identify what is the environmental issue regarding to the proposed developments. And there is no, social impact assessment element inside the EIA studies. However, by 1960s, they have included the social impact assessment studies aspects under the EIA studies. But by 1970s, the social impact assessment study has become as a separate studies compared to the environmental impact assessment study due to the, the diversity in terms of the characteristic, the diversity in terms of the social element, and also the diversity in terms of the perceptions of the, local communities regarding to the projects. This is because of the, if the EIA is focused solely on the physical aspect, the social impact assessment will focus on the cultural and the social aspects. It's maybe related with the sociological parts of the developments, and also the social and economic aspects of the developments. Okay, now we move to the social impact assessment study. So if you ask me what is social impact assessment studies, so the answer is the social impact assessment is a systematic analysis in advance of developments or policy changes that will bring social change to the community. So what is the meaning of this sentence? It means that we are using the SIA as a systematic analysis approach to identify the changes that will bring to the local community caused by the proposed developments. Meaning that before the development, nothing will be happen to the local community, but because of the development, we'll have some minor or major impact to the local communities, and then we need to identify what is the impacts and how to measure the impacts and how also to control the impacts, and what is the the biggest consequence caused by the impact to the local community. We need to know and identify everything. And then the importance of the SIA is because it will give some pictures about the future impact that will come to the place. Because if you note that, if you look into the characteristics of the development without SIA, it will possibly will have some adverse impacts. So maybe, for example, if you look into the demographic changes, so why the demographic changes is very important. Okay, if you look into the case of the urban planning in Malaysia, we have our local plan, we have our structure plan, and local plan is for every district in Malaysia. A district is like kabupatens in Indonesia. Okay, so in every district, we will identify the numbers of the populations. Okay, for example, according to the Malaysia planning guidelines, for every 7,000 of population, we need to have one primary school. And then for every 14,000 of population, we need to have one primary school and one secondary school and 2 primary school. So the ratios of the primary and secondary school will be differ based on the numbers of the populations. And similarly, the number of population also will identify on how many malls to be built in that areas and how many hospital, the size of the hospital, the size of the fire brigade stations, the size of the police stations, the size of government office, and etc. So it will also identify about the size of the roads. Maybe if you look into the bigger cities in Malaysia, the size of the road is maybe about 200 feet on the width. But on the intermediate cities, the size of the road is maybe between 132 feet to 100 feet. But on the small cities, it's maybe the highest at 66 feet. So the hierarchies of the road also different because of the demographic changes. So that's why demographic changes is very important, because let's say if the new development will bring about 10,000 of populations, so meaning that the development also should come with a new primary school, a new clinics, a new mosque or musola, or maybe a new health centers. So it is compulsory according to the Malaysians planning guidelines. And then the economic changes. We also need to know about the numbers of the employments will create by the new project. Let's say we have a new 100 acres of industrial developments. So the size of the industry may be about 1 million square feet. And then it will bring about 2,000 new jobs. So that's why when you look into Malaysia, where we have many foreign workers in the countries, it is because we have many industrial parks, and industrial park required a lot of workers, and the numbers of local to work in the industrial park is very limited. So that's why we need to import workers from Indonesia, workers from India, Bangladesh, or maybe Vietnam or Myanmar to come and work in our industrial parks. So that's the reason. And then the new changes also will bring the new employment patterns to the local communities. The improved social of life and socio-economic among local communities. And then we look into the environmental changes. When we have a bigger urban areas, it means that it will bring a lot of new physical development in that areas, and it will reduce the size of the forest in that areas, and it will reduce the size of the green areas. So we need to know about the possibilities and the impacts due to the process to the future generations of the the communities. And then the institutional changes. Okay, let's say we have 3 types of local council in Malaysia. The first type is the highest, is like we call it city council, and the second category is municipal council, and the third category is district council. So the size of the category of the council depends on the numbers of the population, depends on the numbers of the economics, depend the numbers of the institutions. So meaning that if our areas is become bigger, the size of the areas has become bigger, so it may be need to be upgraded from the district council to the municipal council. Then when it becomes as a municipal council, so meaning that it needs a new structures of the local government, and it needs to provide more employment to the local community, and need to requires a lot of new responsibility in terms of the district management. Okay, then this is the possible benefits of the SIA. So if we look to the, just now I just give some overview about the impacts or the negative sides without the SIA, and then with SIA, this is the possible benefits. So the first one, of course, it will reduce the impacts on communities or individuals. And then the second one, it will enhance the benefit for those affected. So because the SIA is prepared to compensate the affected community, then it will provide a better community benefit to the affected communities. And then it will avoid delay and obstruction to the development. It can ensure that the development could be completed or finished within, the schedule. And then it will lower the cost of the development because it can reduce the numbers of objections among local communities. And then it will provide a better community and stakeholders relationship and improve the proposal of the developments. So social impact assessment will provide a systematic framework to anticipate social changes from a project or policy changes and measure baseline data and project impact. Baseline data is about the information collecting from the local communities and also their perception regarding to the proposed projects. And then we look at the potential of the social implication due to the developments and communicate changes to the community, outline steps to mitigate and enhance negative or positive aspect of changes. So this is the most important part because we need to outline what is the step to mitigate the identified impacts and also how to enhance the negative aspects of the changes. And also we can see the benefit of changes that, we will not empower, we'll give an equal empowerment to all groups of the community within the proposed areas. And then another important requirements of the social impact assessment is also it need to involve as many community members as possible. It will acknowledge negative consequences so they can be addressed in an open manner. It will seek to balance both economic needs with social needs. So meaning that by having a social impact assessment study, we can have a balance in terms of the economic and social needs. So the SIA participants, who are the key stakeholders on the SIA projects? So the first one is the social impact assessment participant included project proponents, local community, government agency, non-governmental agency, consultant, and the public with an interest on the proposed projects. And then this is the components of the SIA study. It will start with the descriptions of the proposed action of the project and the relationship of the proposed action to the land use plan and probable impacts on the ecology alternative to the proposed actions, identifying unavoidable adverse effects, local short-term impacts and long-term issues, and identifying irreversible and irretrievable impacts, and also other considerations such as psychological impact. So this is the major component aspects of the social impact assessment study. So on the importance variable of the SIA under the population change, it will include the population change, the changes of the community. Maybe will have more ladies compared to men as before, or maybe difference, or maybe have more Chinese compared to Malay community as before. And then the influx of the temporary workers, maybe we can have more foreign workers in that areas. And then the presence of the seasonal resident, maybe because of the attractiveness of the place, so maybe more and more rich people will buy the property in that areas, but will come only during the holiday. And then the relocations of the family because of the government land acquisition issues, and then the government need to relocate many family members in that areas, and also changes in the compositions of the local community. And then on the community and institutional arrangement, we will look into the aspects of attitudes toward the project, whether the local community agree or disagree of the projects. And then we will look to who are the interest group. We will look into the NGO who have the interest on the project. Changes in local government, planning and zoning changes, of course, because of the physical development, we might have some planning and zoning changes. And industrial diversification, income and wages, income inequality, maybe have employments of group and changes of occupational choices. And in community transition, we will have some new outside interests acting in the communities, new coalitions of existing institutions, new social classes, changes in industry, changes in housing costs, changes in allocation of natural resources. So you see that all new aspects and the changes in the variable will give some big and major influence to the local community. So that's why we need to treat all the new aspect and the changes in the existing variable very carefully to ensure that it will not provide a huge or a big impact to the community members. And then on the individuals and family level impacts, it will include with the disruptions in livings and movement patterns, new religious practices, alteration in family structures, disruption of social network, changes in public safety and health, changes in leisure activities. New religious practice meaning that maybe previously in that area, there are 100% of the population are Muslim, but now they have a non-Muslim also in that area. So they mean that it requires some tolerance between the local communities. And also leisure activities because of the new aspects of the development will provide with new aspects of leisures. So maybe it will give some diversification in terms of the way how the local community can have their leisure activities. And also on the community infrastructures, we look into the changes in utilities and road. We will look on the infrastructure such as road, such as building office and etc. And also the land acquisition and selling. We must to ensure that every acquisition will be fairly paid the local community about the highest compensation as we can. And also effect on non-cultural, historical, sacred, and archaeological resource. We need to minimize an impact to all of these kinds of cultural, historical, and archaeological resources because this is the history of the place. Because this is some tangible and intangible resources of the place. So we cannot just simply, destroy the historical, cultural, and archaeological resources. We need to preserve without any excuse, without any reason. This must be not tolerated in terms of destroying some cultural and historical aspects of the resources. So that's all from me today. Thank you. Now I will open the session for Q&A.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Azizan, for the presentation. So if you guys have any question, please raise your hand, or maybe you could ask the question in the comment below. Yes. Okay, guys, are there any question?
What time now in ITS?
Right now it's 3:06 p.m., sir.
6 p.m.
Yes, it's 3 p.m.
Okay. Okay, now about the time for you to leave the campus now. Are you leaving now?
The time's still until 3:30, sir.
Okay.
Yes. So because there are no question, maybe I will ask the question, sir.
All right.
Because I have the question in mind So after you deliver the presentation, I'm a bit curious, like how could we integrate the social impact assessment in urban and regional planning context, sir?
Okay. In urban and regional planning context, the social impact assessment should come first before we do any planning exercise. For example, if your government is planning to build a new highway across Surabaya cities, so the first thing we need to know which route, where is the routes of the highway, where is the direction of the highway. Because by knowing about the routes of the highway, we can identify who is the potential people who will get affected by the highway, because they maybe need to be relocated, they maybe need to move from their village, or maybe some historical place need to be disturbed by the highway proposal also. So by doing that, then we can identify whether we need to do some modifications on the routes of the highway, and also we need to identify the amounts or the compensation we need to pay to the local community also. And then we need to ask them about their approval, whether they agree or disagree with the proposed project. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the answer. And it's fun. Yes. Maybe there from anyone else, are there any question from you guys? You could just raise your hand or chat via Zoom meeting. It's okay. Okay, guys, are there any question from you guys? Okay, maybe I would like to ask another question, sir. Is that okay?
It's okay.
You've mentioned before in your presentation, there's like a few variables of CIA, right? So I would like to know, like, how do they find the indicator variables? Like, are there, like, is it from a regulation or maybe publication or something else? And there's like, I think like 5 variables, right? And are there any different weight between those variables, or all the variables like have the same weight? And if we already have the data for we if we already have the data to process the SIA with
Okay.
wait, sir.
Okay.
I will wait, sir. I will think how to say it. Oh, okay, sir. Maybe that's from me
So that's all from you?
for the question. Yes, just
Okay.
that I think. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
There is one person who is raised hand. Do you want to collect the question first, or
Okay.
just answer it?
Yes.
Okay, for disaster-prone areas, you may ask.
So what is the questions?
Hello, Prof.
Yes.
Let me introduce myself. So my name is Zarani Masayu. I'm from Disaster Prone Areas team. Here I want to ask you a question regarding SIA and disaster mitigation and adaptation planning. So my question is, in the context of disaster mitigation and adaptation planning, what SIA variable that we have to identify and prioritize the most? That's all from my question. Thank you so much.
Okay. For disaster management studies, I think what you need to do is like to give some priorities on the physical and the social aspects. For the social aspect, it is maybe up to the disaster studies or maybe some environmental impact assessment studies. But for the social aspects, for the disaster management, you need to identify the first is the affected communities. Who are the affected communities? And then what are the kinds of the negative impact they will face during the disasters? Maybe they need to be relocated for temporary or permanently, or maybe they will lose their job, maybe they will lose their life. So these kinds of the negative sides of the impact need to be identified, and then after you identify the impact, you need to find the solution for the impacts on how to solve the issue. Maybe if we know about the monsoon season, for example, for the landslides or flash flood, for example, so we can have some predictions about what this kind of disaster will happen. So we can take the action earlier, maybe to relocate them earlier before the disaster strikes. So, and that's how we will do. And then we also need to identify the types of disaster. Maybe it will last for 1 week, 1 month, or maybe years. And the magnitudes of the disaster also very important. So that's all for me.
Thank you for Prof. Azizan for your answer.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you. One more from Anidia Gita.
Hello, good evening, Professor.
Good evening.
So my team is currently focusing on social culture regarding the Tosari and Tutur district.
Okay.
But we're quite confused about what is the social impact assessment variables that we must focus for knowing about the social culture.
Okay, for social culture, you don't need to focus on the social impact assessment variables, but you need to focus on the social and cultural aspects of the developments. Meaning that the socio-economic aspects, you need to know about the demographic backgrounds of the community, the gender side, the education levels, and also their income, and also their race, religion, so some demographic aspects. And also on the cultures, what are their beliefs? And also about the issues on the historical aspects of the community. Maybe they have some different belief. For example, some tradition and ritual, like people in Bali, they have a different ritual and tradition compared to people in Jawa or in Jakarta. So that's the things that we need to understand, because when you go to any new place which is different from your place, the first thing you need to understand about their culture, their traditions. And then we need to, treat their culture and tradition with respect. And also we need to value their culture and tradition also. Because that's how we can have a good mutual understanding between the communities and also maybe the new communities. Okay?
All right, thank you, Professor.
Welcome.
Beforehand, could I ask about your presentation about social impact assessment?
Mm-hmm. You ask what?
Could I ask about the material from your presentation earlier?
Oh, yes,
because
of
it
course.
fascinates me about the
I will
materials.
share with the who are. I will share with the one of the staff here in WhatsApp group.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Prof.
All right. Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
nice evening.
See you. Bye. See you in 1 week.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for asking. Are there any further questions from anyone?
Yes, Salma, maybe I want to ask something about the social impact assessment to Professor Azizan. Can I? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Professor Azizan. Hello again. My name is Aulia, and I'm the one who actually contacted you for joining this guest lecture. So I want to say thank you first for your considerations and also your availability to deliver this very wonderful materials for us, since this is very new for us for doing those type of social impact assessment, because previously we are not currently focusing on this SIA. So yeah, probably this will be very insightful things for our students as well. So I would just want to ask whether you have already done the social impact assessment in Malaysia, and what types or what kind of like unique cases or perhaps problems that you have already encountered before. Perhaps you can share to us whether you have like strange or peculiar things.
Because in Malaysia at this moment, I'm one of the pioneer social impact assessment consultants. So I serve as the social impact assessment panel for the governments of Malaysia, for the federal agency and state agencies in Malaysia. And also I'll become as the consultant for, because we have two categories of SIA, category B and A. So for category B, it is for the states, and category A is for the federal levels. So I think that if you want to know further about the social impact assessment study, because what I give to you today is a very brief, very introductions on the SIA, because I'm thinking about the student, it's maybe their first time for them to listen or hear some things about SIA. So I give a very brief. So maybe I can give another lectures while I'm in ITS next week on the case study of SIA. So then we can have a comparisons about, you can have a further understanding about this, the types of SIA and how it will be conducted and why it is very important. And it is not popular among the project developers because it required them to do an extra job, but it is very helpful for the government to make a good decision making. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. So we're waiting for your visit here next week. Yes, we can share a lot
While
of
at the
things
same time,
together.
I will share this slide first.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Owl, for the question. Are there any further question, guys? Because we still have the time to ask the question.
Okay, I've shared the slide.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, maybe I will ask one last time.
All right.
Are there any questions from participants in here?
I understand maybe they are very quite shy to ask me the question, or maybe they're still thinking about what is the best question to ask to me. But don't worry, because I will come to your campus next week. So keep the question and ask when you see me in your campus next week, because I'll give another 1 or 2 talks while I'm in ITS campus next week. So I will see you again next week. So don't worry. You can still ask me a lot of questions about, tourism projects, about urban planning, or even about social impact assessment, or even about research methodology. So see you next week. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So,
Maybe I could close this guest lecture, sir.
Yes, yes.
Are there any close statements from Professor Azizan maybe?
No, from Universitas Sains Malaysia, I would like to thank you a lot to ITS to organize this, International Joint Studio in 2024, because we are really appreciate with what has been done by ITS, but we are very sorry because about 2/3 of our students cannot come to ITS. Only 7 will come today. But I will sure that maybe next year I will bring a larger contingent to ITS because I think this Joint Studio is one of the best session because we can have a sharing of knowledge. Not only about urban planning, but from 2 different countries. Because although we can say we are serumpun, but we are very different in terms of cultures, even though we are same race, Malay, we are same religious as a Muslim, but our culture is slightly different actually. So we have to learn a lot more about ourselves. All right, thank you for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Azizan, for the presentation. So before we close, I think I would like to wrap up the presentation from Professor Azizan. So there are many methods to enhance sustainable development, such as environmental impact, social impact, and health impact. Social impact assessment is one of an analysis of development or policy change that will bring social change to a community. SIA has a key characteristic include demographic change, economic change, environmental change, and institutional change. SIA also have many variables like community in transition, individual family impact, and community infrastructure. Okay, because before we end today's event, maybe we would like to take a picture with
yes.
Professor Azizan. Is that okay, sir?
Okay, everybody just on the screen.
Yeah, okay, let's go, guys. Please turn on your camera and pose. Are there any specific pose maybe from Professor Azizan?
Just some.
Just smile. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, let's go, guys. Maybe I will wait. I will count down to 5. 1, 2, 3,
Pak Atika sopannya.
4, 5. Okay. Maybe for the documentation committee, Rere can come down for taking the picture. Thank you.
One. Wait. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay, from Rere is the picture is already been saved.
Yeah, I guess, but maybe one more.
Okay.
Okay, one more.
Last one.
One more, guys.
Okay.
Last one. Please turn on the camera.
Okay, thank you. I count again from 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Okay, the picture has been saved. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so
See you
much.
again next week. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Professor Azizan.
Welcome. Bye.
Okay, guys. Representing the committee, I would like to say thank you very much for today's participation. And we do apologies for any mistakes or shortcomings throughout this event.
No mistake at all. No worries.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Bye. See you.
Okay, guys, before we wrap up today's event, we sincerely thank you to Mr. Cahyono, Dr. Surayati, Professor Azizan, all lecturers from ITS and USM, and of course, all participants that has been joined today. Before we close today's event, are there any questions for you guys? Okay, I think you guys already don't have any questions. So I just like to give a gentle reminder because tomorrow agenda will be start at 9 a.m. in Indonesia time or 10 a.m. in Malaysia time. Thank you all for your great support, and this is the end for today's agenda. But however, we will meet each other again tomorrow, guys. So with me, Salma Hanifah Rashad as the Master of Ceremony, bid you a farewell and have a good day. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you tomorrow. Bye.